This is a project for one of my customers that requires a piece of tubing that has holes on one side and then rotated 90 degrees. It requires some more holes and a slot. And generally speaking, when I run into something like this, I like to be able to machine the part without any interference. And that's really where the rose index is really a neat kind of a way to index and then really not be in the way when you need to actually do your machining. This part I started with just a plain tube that I had to turn the OD to get into spec. I decided to use snap jaws for this because snap jaws work wonderful. They're very easy to use and very quick when you come to prototyping jobs. This is just a standard horizontal V jaw from snap jaws. The part gets loaded in, put it up against my stop to hold positions. You'll see in the video of the machining that actually happens to the part. And then what happens is the part has a bunch of holes. So after the drills and reamers, I'm using reamers to try to minimize my burrs, to try to make my life a little bit easier. I need to rotate the part. So realistically, I almost entirely use a machinist square. It's just much simpler. I actually utilize the bottom of the index block where the V is at. So if I get this fairly close to being snugged up, rotate around a little bit, push the machinist square down onto the table, push it into the rose index, and with the V being horizontal and the set screw pointed away from you, just a little bit of push rotates and lines up the rose index very simply and very easily. Just a little bit of a snug on the Allen wrench, and then I can go ahead and index my part. Do the same thing. But one of the things with this part was it creates quite a few burrs. And I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to deburr the tubing before I rotated it and had any inaccuracies as far as clamping in the vise. So the rose index really doesn't only allow you to rotate it, it allows you to take this out. I am running a batch using 2 rose indexes. So when I deburr them on the bench, I bring the next one over, get it fairly close to being snug. You can rotate it out just a little bit and simply push it in, make sure it's against your stop, and just literally that quick, you're running the next part while you take this one and go deburr it to do the secondary operation. After I have the index on here and the vise tight, simply quarter turn, take it off, set it on the side, close the doors, and you're back up and running.